speak, although you don't, it's tough enough for people to call me Dr. Dream. But we've taken to describing me as the bowl whisperer now. And I love it. And the domain name was available, like unbelievable. So we own the domain name and we don't have a website for it yet, but we'll get to that. But here's what happens. When these bowls come in, they come in 350 at a time. And so this set that you see, this 50 out here, and those bowls over, no, all those bowls were from a last shipment. So the permanent set of 333 bowls have came into Detroit about a month ago. And I took them to a warehouse in Detroit that friends of mine own. I did their wedding 5 years ago. But so they own this warehouse, and we got all these bowls up there, and I sat with someone I hired who didn't even know what a Tibetan healing bowl was, had no idea. And we sat for 35 hours over 2 days, and we got to know every single bowl. And what that consists of is taking the bowl and striking it in the exact same place every time. F, heart chakra, feel that? But these bowls are really considered bells. They're hand-hammered, 7 metals, and so while you can play them around the edge because they're hand-hammered, it's not like playing a smooth machine crystal bowl that just sings so perfect. And let there be light. And now we're shining and everything. Wow, this is fun. So so then I play it over and over again. It averages 6 minutes to a bowl, and my helper is standing there right next to the bowl holding this cell phone with an app called Note Recognizer on it, and we identify the note and the frequency. So all the bowls here are labeled. This is F, and that is the heart chakra, and then the frequency is 368 hertz. But that may not really mean anything. We type it into Google right away, 368 space HZ, to see if anybody's doing anything special with that frequency and if they're putting it out there in recordings or anything like that. So as an example, this bowl is E, solar plexus, and the frequency of this bowl is 165 hertz. And what we found about what someone else has put out there, and then we found it, is that 165 hertz is the frequency of emotional acceptance. Right? And it's, I'm like, okay, so we all need that. And we have a bowl up here that is 108 hertz. It's the frequency of total knowing. We have a bowl that is 160 hertz. It stimulates the production of 5-HTP in the body, which helps with weight loss, headaches, and issues with sleep. We had a bowl that had the frequency that someone was putting out there for temporary relief of Parkinson's tremors. And I finally found a healing practitioner that had a Parkinson's client, and I gave him the bowl, said, try it out. If you like it, you guys want it, get it. If not, just send it back. And they bought it. He had 2 sessions with her, and it actually worked. And it was like, okay, so there's something to all of this. You just picked up a bowl tonight with the frequency of, or the notes of A, third eye, E, solar plexus. And what Elizabeth informed us is that is E is the what an amazing, so what happens is some of the bowls have 2 notes because they're master healing grade. So they're holding a note for a minimum of 45 seconds up to a couple of minutes or more. And so some of them don't hold the same note the whole time. And so we get some very interesting combinations with the bowls. But I think the real question that comes about when you hear about 33 bowls, and then he shows up with 50 up here, and there's 50 in the back, and he's got how many in the back of his truck? 370 additional bowls. And so the question becomes, how do you even do this? Like, how do you get that many bowls? And this is the part of the story where we're all making a difference, and you being here tonight makes a difference. We're in a sacred economic agreement that spans 3 countries, the United States, Nepal, and India. And it's the Metals Man in Mumbai, India. And it's 2 villages with 1,500 bowl makers and our point person, Kumar, in Kathmandu. And what we've got is an agreement. We pay for the shipping, but these bowls aren't paid for yet. These bowls back here aren't paid for yet. And the money goes directly back to them. We have, an agreement where after each event, well, what I did was I sent my entire schedule and plan for this tour to them, and how we were going to do it, and how we were going to, get people excited by a lot of bowls. And because, who's seen 33 bowls? Maybe, but 333, or we do 111 events, that kind of thing. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And so all of those entities approved the strategic plan and said, we'll work with Dr. Dream. We'll send the bowls. We're struggling right now in Nepal. Western media, I mean, we're already just dividing, all of us with the elections and all that stuff the media is doing for us. But Nepal is still having terrible issues, and the earthquake was a year ago. And so in January, they went from 13 hours of no electricity a day to 18 hours. I mean, our bowls have to travel from Nepal to India because we can't fly them out of Nepal. They're not, there's air cargo, fuel issues, all this stuff. And so we've got to take them 3 days, standing room only kind of situation. There's a lot that goes into it. So I want to thank you here at the beginning for you showing up tonight and feeling the energetic call to be here and paying to be here, because whether it's the sales of the bowls or what comes in from the door, I'm making a payment to Nepal tomorrow. And so I'm tremendously grateful, and we're busting paradigms. The first one is you have to have money to make money. And it's like, no, actually, maybe we should start looking at things from a different perspective of what's a good idea, what supports the most people, what's sustainable, what makes a difference, a real difference, not in my bank account, okay, not in a corporate bank account or anything like that, but what makes a real difference for people. And that's how this has come about. And so it's exciting, and there's 1,500 plus people that know we're here tonight in San Clemente and doing this experience. And so you haven't even heard really a bowl played yet, and yet you feel the energy, and that's a beautiful thing. So we're going to get started. Kind of here's how we're going to do it tonight. Well, first off, this is a lot of energy, and it would be we would be remiss if we didn't focus our intention and leverage this energy. And so, since energy knows no boundaries, maybe we could take a moment to call into this experience those people we know that are going through really challenging times right now. And so many people we know are going through challenging times. And it's not easy right now. And yet here we are in our strength and in our power tonight together, creating a very powerful grid with these bowls and all the energy that's involved with all of this. And so if for just a couple of moments here, we could actually call the names out loud of people that you would like to benefit from what we're doing here and from the energies tonight. And so Susie Peebler and my brother Todd Peebler and Laura Eisenhower, and Catherine Zahilo, Kyle Lindley, Tony Fiedler, all the 1,500 bowl makers, all the people of Nepal, all the people all over the world that are struggling. In my life, it's amazing the difference that we can make just by being present for a moment, a couple of moments, you know, and focusing what we truly desire from the purity of who we really are, and just putting it out there, and source hears it, gets it. You know, we're sending out messages in every single moment anyway. It's like every action, every thought is us waving a flag to source, God, universe. I use the words interchangeably, saying, this is who I am and this is what I'm about. And the underlying message is, and this is what I want you to reflect back to me. Okay, because that's really what we're doing in every thought and every energy we hold. The stuff that we don't let just pass through our minds, but we latch onto and we obsess over, or that is our path and mission, whatever it is on either side of the scale. So let's start off now with the upper crown, which is our 8th chakra, and it's the energy center of divine love, spiritual compassion, and spiritual selflessness. But what's really exciting about the 8th chakra is it has the ability to activate skills that are contained in the crown chakra. And that includes telepathy, or as I like to call it, telepathy, seeing auras, lucid dreaming, out-of-body travel, and healing. And these are all kind of seemingly where ascension is going to be taking us, and kind of valuable gifts for us to move into. So from our upper crown chakra right now, we're in a most lovely, beautiful, safe, and sacred space here, and I'm thrilled to be here. And I said when I got here earlier today, we're going to bring the 333 bowl experience back here. So this is just for us to be here and feel into the energy, and then we want to do the big experience here, and this entire space will accommodate it. So from being in this space, we're already in a safe, sacred space, but sometimes when we're entering into a really highly energetic experience where we're going to be opening and working on our energy centers, it's nice to call in protection. And so I'm sure we all have a method to call in protection. I keep things very simple in my life, and I just call in my angels, my spirit guides, and my helpers, and all those of the light and that are here to assist in the energies as we're presenting them for the highest good of all. So the first chakra, and here's how the experience will run. We're going to come up to you directly with an essential oil, and then with each of the chakra bowls. So we're going to pull a chair out right here so we have direct access to you, Mary. So it is really an immersive experience. And so after you get the oil on, the method with the oil is to rub your wrists together gently, okay? Because when we do it too fast, we're kind of saying, no, I'm in a hurry to get through this part of the experience. And it's like, no, take your time. Let's be right now in this moment and present. You'll rub your wrists together gently, and then you'll bring them up to your nose, and you'll inhale 6 times. And the reason that it's a minimum of 6 times, the thousands of people that I put oil on, after the first inhalation or the second, they'll say, oh, that's nice. Like, and they're already in their mind on to whatever's next in their life or something. I'm like, no, 4 more times. And then by the end, they say something like, oh, that feels good. And so what we want to do is be so present and so in the moment that we're really allowing it to take hold into our feeling body, because that's what all of this is doing. And so we've just found a really lovely synergy between essential oils and the different chakra notes. And so we'll be playing with 7 different oils tonight, and 6 of them are from doTERRA. And I'm not here to promote any particular company, but if you're using Young Living, that's great. If you're using doTERRA, that's excellent. If you're not using those two companies, you really need to do your homework and make sure that you're getting the best oils. Okay, there's all sorts of things we can cut corners on, like paper towels. I'm a big fan of getting inexpensive paper towels and stuff, but 50% of the oil goes into your bloodstream once it touches your skin. Okay, this is not a place that we want to cut corners. You want the highest quality. And those two companies really do provide that. And I can get you more information if you're looking for information or oils that are right for you. So we're going to talk about each chakra, and I ask you to allow this information to move you into whatever it is that's asking for your attention or fine tuning in your own experience. So allow what I'm going to talk about, what the root chakra is about, what the statement for each chakra is, what it looks like when we're balanced, and what it looks like when someone else is not balanced in that chakra. So allow it to trigger you or to guide you into the inner journey where you can see, like there'll be some things like the statement for the root chakra is, I am safe. Well, we're being fed so much fear, like the inner fire of fear is being stoked in almost everything around us. Sometimes it's hard for us to say whatever the statement is for the chakra. My personal one that tripped me up for years ago was, I am divine for the crown chakra. I couldn't own my divinity. And so I couldn't say it. But I know that some people have a challenge saying it with the root chakra. That's great. Allow that to bring you into the inner journey. And so when the root chakra bowl is coming around and you're breathing balance, the grounding blend, and so you're feeling all grounded, and the root chakra bowl is allowing this, but you've been triggered by some of the words or this I am safe when maybe you don't really feel safe, turn it over. Let it go. Breathe it out and breathe in the grounding. Breathe in the I am safe frequency and breathe out whatever is getting in the way of that taking hold within you. So this is the way to make the most of this experience tonight. And however seasoned you are with all the chakras and everything else, I feel like I've pulled together a really nice description. Now, this is the first of several gifts tonight. So this is a 16-page document of my notes on each chakra and the accompanying oils. If you would like it, you don't need to take any notes tonight, just be really present. But if you would like it, send me an email and I'll send you the PDF of it. It's great information. It addresses the emotional body. There's things I won't talk about tonight that are in this information, the stones for each chakra, the colors for each chakra. I don't go into that tonight. I'm just focused on a couple of trigger points to stir some things up. Then when we come around, the healing can really take place. Not that the healing wouldn't take place anyway, but I feel like it gives us the edge. So the root chakra is about grounding, stability, physical needs, security, survival, manifestation, and the material world. And the statement for this chakra is, I am safe. When we're balanced in our root chakra, of course, the characteristics energetically are that we're balanced, we're grounded, we're healthy, we're safe, and we're patient. When somebody else is imbalanced in the root chakra, they may experience money issues, addictions, and low self-esteem. So let's just bring it down to like a real place here. We had this game we played at in Ojai when we used to do events up there, and there'd be a core group of us that would get together and we'd all warm up by taking turns and saying, if you really knew me, you would know. And then you share something that they probably don't know about you. So it's kind of easy for me because you don't know me very well yet. You will in an hour and 40 minutes. And so if you really knew me, you would know that I may be one of the most insecure people that you've ever met. And so it's interesting that I do 2 to 5 events a week from this many people to we've got events planned later this summer in June that'll have 900 or 1,000 people. But that's just kind of my thing. So it is when we talk about what's balanced and imbalanced, it's not for you to be sitting there judging yourself like, oh, I'm having money issues right now, and judging yourself by that. It's saying, oh, interesting. I'm having money issues. I'm having addiction challenges. I'm experienced low self-esteem earlier today. Where did that come from? And leverage that, not to bring you down, but to say, oh, how perfect, like money issues. And now he's going to come around with the root chakra bowl. This is excellent. Let's move that energy. Okay. Remember, it's you and you're writing the script. Okay. And it doesn't matter what you wrote into your script last year, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. It really doesn't matter because every single day you're writing the script new. Now we have like this thing where we repeat the script over and over again until we get really tired of it, and then we write it for new. But I just want to remind you of that. Whatever you try today, whatever you put your energy into today, to do today, even though it might not have worked last year, you're not even near who you were last year. Okay, so like you've learned a lot in that year, and so give yourself a chance and embrace all that is to be embraced, which is who we actually are. Okay, so it would be I'm practical. So I include a part on here where it's like, okay, if you're challenged in your first chakra, here's a practice for you. So the first chakra practice is to sit in nature, take your shoes off, let your feet sink into the grass, sand, or dirt, plant a garden, or do something that will connect yourself to the earth. Of course, you could get a sea bowl also and take it home with you. But let's go ahead and we'll do an oil. Yes. Oh, that's a good idea. I see things start moving so quickly. So the essential oil that you're about ready to experience is called Balance. It is the grounding blend, and it's a combination of tree oils and roots. And so here's the nice thing. We look to where the essential oil comes from and what are the qualities of trees? What are the qualities of roots? Well, they're grounded. They're solid. Trees have roots. I did a wedding yesterday in a park in Irvine, and the fairy tent blew over that they had set up because it was so windy yesterday. And so we did it by a tree. And it was this beautiful big tree. I couldn't even, it would take three of us probably to get all the way around it in a hug. And it was so beautiful because it was like just reminding us of how important it is to ground our experience. And so trees live in the present moment. They're not in a hurry. And of course, they're very stable. Balance's soft energy is excellent for calming hyperactive children who have difficulty settling down. It's also a wonderful remedy for adults who need to reconnect with their roots, like my hyperactive inner child. It strengthens a connection with the lower body and earth, and these connections are especially important when the upper faculties have been overused due to excessive thinking, speaking, or spiritual activity. Okay, just based on the fact that you're here tonight, I'd say that you're probably doing excessive spiritual activity. And I'm sure included in that is all the thinking and speaking and processing, and it takes a lot out of us. And again, I meet very few people who really come across grounded, okay? But that's not a judgment. I mean, it's just look at our lives. You know, so many of us are doing jobs that have nothing to do with who we really are on the inside, but that's how we're paying our bills. But it's keeping us away from our families. It's not addressing like what inspires us or what we're passionate about, although we can kind of fake it. I mean, that's the matrix. And so, you know, like that's not very grounding. And then throw in what the media does to us and everything else. I mean, we have to be really discerning in what we take in and what we own and what we put ourselves in the line of fire of. I don't watch TV. I mean, I watch movies. I love movies, but I don't watch anything else on TV. I watch Netflix. But it's like if somebody was standing there with a weapon, you wouldn't stand right in front of it. And so think about that with the media and this game of the elections and everything else. And you know, like as though, well, apparently those powers think that we need more things to separate us from each other and to create that separation. It's just plain separation, and it's just not necessary anymore, but we have to take ourselves out of the game. So balance, the grounding blend. It teaches individuals to ground their energy and to manifest their vision with the patience of a tree. And you smelled spruce, rosewood, and other essential oils. And now we'll go to our sea bowls. And I'm going to start with this one, but it's a bit much for me to like wait till I get to the crown chakra over here. I'm not even going to pick it up. It was enough for me to get it from the truck into the door. But I'm going to start with this, and then we'll come around with smaller bowls. There was a book I read in 1994 titled The Ptah Tapes. Again, this will be in the notes that I send you if you want the notes. And it was it's channeled material from the Pleiadians. And it was channeled by Janie King. And I'm not much on channeled material. I think if it's valuable enough, we should all be able to just go direct and get it. Like, we don't need all these different channels. That's just me. And there's studies that show just, I mean, it's coming through humans. Like, if it's going to come through a human, I should be the human, you know, and I should get it direct from source. And so, but this particular book, because I found it somehow, and I read it, and one of the points that it hit home was a concept called safe universe. And ever since 1994, I have owned and energized and supercharged this concept of safe universe. And this is one of those books, it's a small book. And when I was done with it, I read it in Guatemala, and I cried. I cried for a half hour. And for me, it was crying out the truths I had been holding, fear-based truths, that still they were my truths, whether they were actually true or not, obviously not. But actually, whatever we hold on to, we make true, so we make real. But that's what I was crying out, because it was being replaced by these expanded truths and revelations, I guess, for me. And so I think that it's important to remember that as we talk about the root chakra, and we talk about fears and fear-based thinking and fear-based conditioning and things like that, that we just see. I mean, we don't have to be, I'd like us all to be real with each other, but let's start off by just being very, very real with ourselves and very honest with ourselves. And then, by the way, you don't have to really shift anything, because you'll naturally be that way with everybody else. And so always whatever's reflected outside of us draws us back into the inner journey. And so to be very real with ourselves about how we're writing our script and what we're holding on to, because the micro reflects back, or yeah, in the macro. And so, you know, whatever it is that we're still holding on to in our own lives, as we clear it out, we're paving the way, and we're shifting energies, and we're making it easier for the rest of the collective, and we're making it easier for the people that are connected to us. And so just a thought. We move on to the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. And this is about emotions, relationships, sexuality, self-worth, creativity, and empathy. And the statement for the sacral chakra is, I am creative. I am creative. This is interesting, because sometimes when we hear that I am creative, and maybe like our job doesn't seem to involve any creativity, except maybe we have to figure out how to smile when we're there, and so we have to get really creative to learn how to do that. But no, it's if we're not in something that's like artistic or something like that, it's like I am creative, yeah, whatever, you know. But here's the bottom line to that. I mean, you are creative, and you are an artist, and your masterpiece is you. And you're creating and adding to that masterpiece every single day, every single moment, in everything that happens to you. And sure, there's all sorts of fine tuning. I mean, I've got some brushstroke little marks up there that I'm going to turn into a tree, and something over here that spilled, I'm going to turn into a cloud on my masterpiece. And so there's always going to be that. But the point is that in each moment, we should just be able to stop and look at who we are, what we've created as our life, as the expression of our spirit and our soul, and feel good about it in that moment. And so I am creative. That's what the sacral chakra is to me. And so when we're balanced in our sacral chakra, we are spontaneous, we're social, we're passionate, and we're trusting. And when somebody else is imbalanced in the sacral chakra, they lack spontaneity, they may have rigid beliefs, sexual issues, and they may be resentful. And so a second chakra practice would be to join a community group. And here we are at a lovely center that we are at. And I'm sure there's all sorts of groups here that would love new energies joining them. And also try a new activity, do anything that involves water and nurturing yourself. And so, you know, this is a thing here, nurturing yourself. And a lot of us put a weird spin on that, like nurturing myself. Oh, that's selfish. I can't at all even begin to nurture myself. I have to take care of everyone else. And the bottom line is you're going to do a lot better taking care of everyone else if you've taken care of yourself. Okay, and that's the story with you're going to do a lot better loving everyone else once you've really learned how to love yourself, you know, and then it's just we're taking everything to the next level. And so, yeah, so important to nurture ourselves. So the oil for this is wild orange. And this is, that happens a lot in my world. And I figure it's like, oh, I must have needed that note right then. So wild orange is an oil that I never took seriously. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm an oil snob, but like bergamot, oh, wow, you know, or neroli, you know, like all this wild orange, whatever, you know. And so it was a couple of years ago that I realized that wild orange was an amazing oil. And then I did all this research. And wild orange is the oil of abundance. And I'm like, already it made it sound better than the other ones. It addresses a wide variety of emotional issues. It inspires abundance. It fosters creativity. It supports a positive mood. Every single citrus oil is a happy oil. So they all promote a positive mood. It restores physical energy. Wild orange also reconnects individuals with their inner child, and it brings spontaneity, fun, joy, and play into one's life. Okay, if I've got spontaneity, fun, joy, and play in my life, I mean, I'm abundant, okay? You know, if you can feel all of that, whatever is in your bank account, you know, whatever is with everything else. I mean, that's the fun stuff. My inner child is just like, oh, yes, bring it on. And so wild orange teaches the true meaning of abundance. It encourages individuals to let go of scarcity mindsets that include fear, nervousness. I got it. It's just one of those words, and I say it quite often when I do this, and it never sounds right. Inflexibility, workaholism, lack of humor, and the belief that there is not enough. Wild orange reminds the soul of the limitless supply found in nature. The limitless supply reminds the soul of the limitless supply found in nature. Here we are, abundance. Fruit trees like orange give freely to all in need. And wild orange teaches individuals to give without thought of compensation. We're shifting paradigms here. Okay, we're changing. I get it. It sounds a little weird. Give without thought of compensation. Well, then I'm not going to have anything left. Okay. I give, and I give, and I give. I give everything I can possibly give. And you'll see in the gifts that I talk about tonight and through it all. I mean, you're going to hear about 15-minute consultations where I block a half hour. And if you do the assignment I ask for, you get another 15 to 30-minute consultation. If you do that assignment, you get another. Okay, if you're willing to step up in your life, and I've got time in my schedule, and I do. I'm on the road a lot. I make calls and all of this. I'm here to help people, okay? And it's not always with my handout. That's why I'm so appreciative that everyone's paid, you know, 25 or whatever everyone paid to be here tonight, because that makes a difference. Because when I'm in my off time, I'm not out there saying, oh, that's $100 for that hour session with you. You know, it's like, no, I'll do whatever it takes to assist people on their journey. And so maybe wild orange completely shifted me into that energy. In nature, there's always enough to go around, and wild orange encourages individuals to let go of their need to hoard. It also assists an individual's natural creative sense. It inspires limitless solutions for problems and issues. limitless solutions for problems and issues. All right, that's Wild Orange. I get to have fun, spontaneity, joy, and play. I get, it's abundance, and now I get limitless solutions for whatever challenges I'm dealing with. I'm loving this oil. And then it says here, one never needs to fear. And this is obviously a recurring, certainly in the lower chakras, this is a recurring theme. You don't need to fear, okay? Whatever was ingrained in you, whatever I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I feel like I've done the requisite amount of kind of screwing up for her that she'll have plenty to work on her whole life. And I'm like a very conscious and aware person, okay? And I have nothing but huge love for her. But that's just what happens. I saw my mother yesterday, and she's got dementia, so it's a whole nother level of dealing with someone. And it's just like, wow, all that stuff. Like, so I stand before you as Dr. Dream, which is my Jedi mind trick, so to speak, because I'm a direct connect right now to source and all Mark Peebler's stuff. And Mark Peebler's got stuff because he's here having a human experience just like everyone else, is right there. And so it's just kind of wild what we, I don't even know how I went into that space about my mother. It's a recent thing. I don't know. So I've been called to talk about it for just a moment. So I don't know if you all are dealing with parents and dementia situations and things like that. It's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one to watch, and my heart just breaks when I come to Orange County. And hey, it's challenging, and you realize that they wrote part of that script also. And I'm realizing with a number of people in my life that I love so much that I'm not here to fix them. I can hold space for them, and I want to fix them. I want to heal them. And I can't. I just can't. There's nothing. I'm not a healer. Okay? I am. All right. I'm sorry. I am a healer. I'm a healer for me. And each of you are a healer for yourselves. And that's it. And the rest of the time we hold space, and we're a catalyst, and we can facilitate, but we're not doing it. Okay. And when I'm healing myself, believe me, I'm not alone in the process. All right. Like there's a lot happening there. All right. So that was nice. Maybe I moved some energy. Thanks for allowing that to happen. Wild Orange invites the individual to completely let go as a child does, and to live from their authentic self. So this concept of authentic self, afterwards, inevitably at my talks, people, or these experiences, people come up to me and they say, Dr. Dream, thank you for being so vulnerable. And now I can't even handle the word vulnerable, because it suggests that there's weakness, or it suggests that there's something to fear. Like, oh, I've opened myself up. Oh, I just cried in front of all of you. And like, okay, now what could happen to me? And it's like, no, I'm not vulnerable. I'm really not vulnerable, but I'm authentic. Okay, so I needed to cry right then. So I cried. I can't hold anything in anymore. It doesn't work in my energetic. And so this being authentic, I think a lot of us, when we start talking and we tell our stories about reality, some of those stories are about the inauthenticity we see around us. Well, maybe we should just take a moment in our meditation, or in our quiet space, and address that and say, if I'm seeing inauthenticity around me, what in my own energetic is not authentic? Where am I not being authentic? And then we'll come up with, well, I can't really be myself in front of those people because they completely couldn't handle it. Like the people I work with, they couldn't handle if I was like the true me. Or my family, like, oh boy, I can't talk about extraterrestrials or whatever because it'll freak them out. And here's the thing. If you're in it and it means something to you, I don't think we should push our beliefs on anyone. But I think it's fine to be who we are, and to share what we have to share, and to share what's changing things for us. And maybe, just maybe, when we fully step into that authenticity, those people that were on the list of, no, they couldn't handle me, maybe they've just been waiting for us to be so authentic that it gives them permission to be authentic. And if not, it doesn't really matter because you're being authentic, so whatever. I mean, you know, it's like people can deal with you or not. Like, I'm not here to make friends. I didn't come to this reality. I didn't embody as Mark Peebler, Dr. Dream, to make friends here. Okay. But I came down here came here to this experience to be my true self. And if that has an impact on people, or they want to be close and they feel an affinity to that, great. I love it, because like energy attracts like energy. So look at you guys, you know, I mean, we're not so different at all here at all. I mean, the only reason I'm standing up here on what appears to be a pedestal is because there's a stage and a camera in the back. But you'll never find me, you know, I don't allow people to put me on a pedestal. You know, the only time I'll be on a pedestal is when we're all on that pedestal, because we're all that special. We're all that incredible. And there's nothing more special about me than any one of you in this room or watching this on YouTube. And so it's an important point. It's like, you know, we want to put people on pedestals and we want to call them gurus and we want to think that there's something incredibly special. And you know what happens when we do that? We're saying that that's them. They're incredibly special. They can do that. And we start to like judge ourselves in that, instead of realizing, wow, they're in their passion and they're inspired and they're sharing their gifts. Let that trigger me into moving into my passion, into being inspiring myself, and into sharing the gifts that I have to share. Okay, so Wild Orange has now taken us right into the solar plexus. The note for the the note for the sacral chakra is a D. I know, right? Thank goodness we haven't left the lower chakras yet. And so he says, looking for his D ball. And the statement for this is, I am creative. You are the master. So really it becomes all about moving energy. And when things happen or don't happen, when things happen in a way that's less than comfortable, or happen in a way that we thought we had energized or focused on being another way, then we go back into the inner journey and we say, oh, where's that energy stuck? What's going on? I just got back from Las Vegas, Omaha, Detroit, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Oklahoma City, and Amarillo, Texas. And in Detroit, we did the first of the 333 bowl experiences. We had 162 people there. And it was stressful. Unbelievably stressful. Now everything's sort of panned out and I'm more balanced with everything. But I've been doing the tour of love and we're up to about 390 group energetic experiences since January of 2010. So doing energetic experiences for groups is nothing new for me. Traveling with, 1,200 kilos of Tibetan healing bowls and having to have 20 angels at every experience because we have 20 stations around the entire audience was challenging. And then in St. Louis and Oklahoma City, we had 23 of us, 22 in one city and 23 of us in another city, and there were only 42 people in the audience. So it was just like, wow, what a blast off. And so we're trying, so for me, and they were amazing experiences, but it's like, how can we have 23 people in a room that are all connected to a bunch of other people and only draw? And we were at Science of Mind churches and stuff, Centered for Spiritual Living. And it's like, so we got that out of the, what happens with this? And so it takes me back into the inner journey and I'm like, okay, so what's going on with this now? Because, and I was on TV in Oklahoma City on the morning show, and like putting oil on the anchor and vibing her up with one of the bowls. They showed the bowl at that moment when I struck it. It was the F bowl. Her whole body jerked. They didn't get it on the camera, but literally her whole body jerked at that moment. I was just like, whoa, okay. So, and it was like an opportunity for me to do something in 3 minutes and 39 seconds, which, is a challenge for me. Believe me, 2 hours is a challenge for me. So the reason that that I talked about that just now was just to bring that up. So we're now into the solar plexus. And this is the upper, it's the final of our lower chakras. It is our personal power. It's the will, energy, metabolism, effectiveness, self-esteem, social identity, and happiness. It is our core energetic. Okay, and most of the people that would come into my practice for private sessions, most of them needed a fine-tuning in the solar plexus because our lives are very draining. Our diets are draining, our whatever they're spraying in the skies that make all the weird clouds now and everything like that. It's all very draining, and so we need to nurture ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to counter it with good high vibrational stuff. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So the statement for the solar plexus is, I am strong. I am strong. And when we're balanced in the solar plexus, we're confident, warm, empowered, and energetic. And when somebody else is imbalanced in the solar plexus, they experience powerlessness, stomach-related issues, anger, and confusion. Okay, so to be quite honest, everything in the balanced and the imbalanced column I've experienced in the last 24 hours. I mean, completely in the last 24 hours. And that's not judging myself at all. That's like me standing up here being really honest with me, and then you're here, so I'm being honest with you too. And so I know for me, it's always, look, the energy that it takes for me to do all this. I got here this afternoon I had you come in so early, at 3:45 or something, and it's because it's so challenging to carry on. Just the physical aspect of this. And then the emotional aspect, and then the energetic, just all of it ties in. But so for me, it's really important to leverage my solar plexus, so my heart can expand. So because that's part of what draws people in, is because I'm here to be a beacon of love. You know, we can wrap it up as all sorts of other stuff, but I'm here to be a beacon of love. And so I'm leveraging my solar plexus all the time to do that. So and then I have stomach related issues. Like that's where I carry all my stress, and I'm an emotional eater to boot. So I carry all my stress in my stomach, and I'm an emotional eater. And it's just like, okay, so you got solar plexus, you got a lot of these e-bowls around, right? I'm like, yeah, actually I do. And so, and I just share that with you because that's the realness of it. That's what I'm asking. I'm inviting you. The invitation is there for you to be that. You don't have to get up here and stand up here and put this thing on, and they don't watch you on YouTube. But the invitation is for you to be really honest with yourself right now. And what is calling for, I said it before, what's calling for your attention? What's calling for a new intention? What becomes a different part of the script? Rewrite. Oh, wow, I've been writing that part in for years now. It's out of here. I'm not owning that anymore. And that came from when I was 5 years old, and boom, 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 or that's the way my parent, you know, whatever it is, and connect the dots and say, okay, I'm done with it. You know, they say, a good friend of mine up in Ojai has Elevate Films, Mickey Willis, and he had this great metaphor, and he said, you know, when you go through airport security, like there's just certain things you can't take through airport security. And he's like, well, we're going through an ascension process. There's just certain things that we can't take with us, you know, that don't serve us and don't belong there and aren't allowed there. And so identify that now and just start letting go of that. And even though it's like your rational mind is saying, oh, no, I can't, you know, it's like, yeah, the rational mind has served you, but we can let go of parts of that also and just see where the flow is taking you. This gets to be a really magical time. And when we drop our disbelief, we suspend our disbelief. Okay, you don't even have to drop it. That was scary, right? Drop our disbelief. Wait a sec, you know, that's protected me, ego says. So we suspend our disbelief to see what we can really do, like invoking the names of the people that we invoked. Okay, you may very well hear from those someone that you called out their name that says, wow, I had a boost of energy yesterday. I had, you know, whatever it is. You know, it all makes a difference, and it's up to us to push the envelope. How can we make that difference? What if I did something stellar yesterday? What can I leverage that to do tomorrow, you know, or the next day? What's possible? I'm constantly saying what's possible. Like, wow, I did that. I've had tremendous success with women that have uterine fibroids, tumors in the uterus, and we get rid of them. And I'm pretty sure I can now do it over the phone with someone. Okay, and it's lower chakra stuff. It's sacral. It's so common in women, and it has to do. I know what it has to do with. So we push the envelope of that, and people freak out. The first person that came to me, 5 tumors in her uterus, one the size of her fist. She says, Dr. I had a radio show. She said, Dr. Dream, I need your help. I said, great. What do you need? What can I do? And she said, I've got these uterine fibroids. One's the size of my fist. There's 5 of them. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? And she said, I want you to help me make them smaller. Okay, why are we doing that? She said, well, I've got surgery planned in 3 weeks, and I don't want it to be so invasive. I'm like, well, I'll take you as a client because your belief system accommodates everything I'm going to share with you. So you're ready for me. But you know what? Would you like to just have them? We could go one step further as long as we're shrinking them to a manageable size to have them pulled out of you. Why don't we go one step further? Do you want to do that? And we'll just have them disappear. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. 9 sessions later, they were gone. Okay, and now, you know, with someone else, we did 3 sessions, and now I think we're ready to do it over the phone with people. So people come up to me after the event, and they'll say, so Dr. Dream, my sister has uterine, because we all know someone with uterine fibroids. Okay, so my sister has uterine fibroids. Can you help her? I'm like, I don't know. Can she believe this? Can she believe that she can shrink the tumors by just connecting the dots with why they're there? With the energy of why they're there. Everything shows up on the physical body just to be a messenger. And once we get the message, I have the simplistic thing. You sign for the FedEx envelope. He doesn't say, hey, Dr. Dream, what are we doing today? You know, like, I'm going to tag along with you. It's like, no, you got the message. I get it. It's a little simplistic, but to me, that's cancer. That's everything else that affects the physical human body. You get the message, it'll go away, and you can be the miracle. But it's all going to be commonplace at some point, because these are one of the skills that we're activating from that we're activating in our crown chakra from our 8th crown. So we're now at the 3rd chakra practice. So if this solar plexus is an issue for you, if you're experiencing powerlessness, stomach-related issues, anger, or confusion, you write down what angers you on a piece of paper and you burn it. So I did a intensive in Sedona years ago, and I wrote letters to people that had hurt me, and then I realized I'm just forgiving myself, and all this stuff. And I went out to the high desert, and I read the stuff, and I cried, and I just went through a cathartic process, and then I ripped it up into little pieces, and I put it in a hole I dug in the ground, and I lit it on fire, and then I urinated on it, and then I buried it with dirt, and it's a pretty powerful experience to do, like just letting go of stuff. So try it. I mean, you know, not what I did. I mean, well, you can, but like just simply just a little note and then burn it and see what happens. Focus on a martial art, cry at a sad movie, embrace your emotions, always remember to laugh, always remember to cry, always remember to allow whatever emotion is that comes up, because when we start shutting them down, we start getting sick. We start creating dis-ease in our body, because our body's saying, I want to cry, but you're not letting me cry, you know? And so I'll have men come up to me after my talks and say, wow, you cried in front of 100 people just now. It gives me permission to cry. Like, wow, then it was worth it, because that caught me off guard. All right. So with this solar plexus, we do peppermint. And so this is going to give us a little lift right now also. We get to play too. Peppermint's one of my favorites because I carry one with me. I don't drink coffee anymore. I do a lot of driving, and I'm just like, oh, peppermint, or I'll just open it, or I'll make an inhaler of it and just be like, okay, I can drive that extra hour right now, even though I don't like to push myself. So peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart, and it brings joy and buoyancy to the heart and soul. And it invigorates body, mind, and spirit, and reminds individuals that life can be happy and there is nothing to fear. Gosh, we're just getting it all over the place, okay? Like, we're doing some rewriting right now, so embrace it. Say to yourself, hey, yeah, there is nothing to fear. Like, I am safe. Like, I live in a safe universe, and I choose to have that reflected back to me. Just because I live in a safe universe doesn't mean that I take risks, because if it's a risk in my mind, then I'm not going to do it, because I'm drawing in an energetic that is about it being a risk. There's a fear involved with it. So peppermint, it lifts an individual out of their emotional trials for a short reprieve. When an individual uses peppermint, they feel as though they're gliding through life. It assists in staying on the surface of emotional issues like a water skier on a lake. Doesn't that sound great? The power of peppermint can be felt most in times of discouragement or depression. When the individual is disheartened, they may use peppermint to rediscover the joy of being alive. Do you know people in your experience that have forgotten the joy of being alive? We all know those people. It's called depression. And we're going to talk about that in a little while, but peppermint is a good one for this. When a person may also abuse the properties of peppermint oil. So here's the thing. An oil can become a crutch like Oxycontin or anything else. Like anything, we're so good as humans, we can abuse anything, like anything at all. There's a doTERRA oil called Deep Blue, and it's the soothing blend. And I swear, it just gets you out of pain. But the trick is it gets you out of pain so then you can process why you're in pain. Because when you're in pain, it's not worth trying to process why you're in the pain when you're in the pain. It's just like a losing battle. It's like, okay, so get me out of the pain. Now I can process it. But then we forget about the processing thing. And I have clients that are constantly reaching for Deep Blue. And it's like, wait a sec. So it's not the pill anymore, the Oxycontin or the whatever. it's called these days. Now it's the deep blue. It's like it's still a crutch, and we don't want to do that, and we don't want to do it with peppermint also. And so because we didn't really come here just to wade in the shallow waters of reality, did we? I mean, no, not at all. We came to fully immerse ourselves and dive in and have the full experience. But sometimes it gets a little heavy out there, and it's nice to be that water skier on the emotional waters, but not to hang out there and not to stay there. Peppermint can assist an individual in regaining the strength needed to face their emotional reality. That sounds very good. And so it is the solar plexus, and it's an E. Wasn't that the e-ticket, like that joke, the e-ticket got you everything? So kind of cool that the E for the solar plexus. Now I'm going to come around with the solar plexus bowl that has the frequency of emotional acceptance. So feel free to let go of any unacceptance that you've been holding on to for any of your emotions when I come around. And so as opposed to just doing the one section, I'll make sure to go to everybody. You want to try? So people, I know people kind of want to know, like when people are doing things like, what are you thinking about, or what are you doing? So when I come up to you, I hold the bowl by my fingertips because I'm literally pouring the frequency into your particular chakra. And I'm asking Source to bless you. I'm asking Source to bless you. And I'm asking Source to flow through me any energies that are needed by you. And then I'm just completely loving you, just nothing but loving you, and just being inspired by how you've shown up here tonight, because you're drawn to this energy and you must be on a path of expansion. And that inspires me and is awesome. Okay, so this is the place where we move into the upper chakras. And so just feel what it feels like right now. We've done the first 3 chakras. We've cleared some things out. We've moved some energy. The invitation was there, just like with life. It's an invitation for us to do whatever, free will, universe. And so you've moved some energy. You know how much energy you've moved. I've felt it. And I feel it in this room. And so just feel how you feel having moved energy in those first 3 chakras, how you're feeling more balanced and more integrated, and just own that for a moment. Just say, I'm owning this right now. I'm owning this feeling, and I'm asking my cellular memory to put a place marker here for me. So when tomorrow, maybe when I'm going to go off and do fill in the blank Monday, I mean, it's Monday, okay? And maybe you're not going to feel incredibly grounded in a moment tomorrow. Maybe you will. Maybe we've just crossed that barrier and you're always going to feel grounded and empowered in your lower chakras, which are all about your physical experience, about the meat suit, I'm human body experience. But just own this, and then in a time of challenge with feeling grounded and it just seems like, literally your feet are being kicked out from under you, just call it up and say, no, I'm going to go back to that moment where I did that work and I'm in there. And it's intention, and it's focusing your attention on it and deciding you're going to make that real. You're energizing that. You're including that in your script. You're going to make that real. Okay. So now, as if it all hasn't been fun, now we're going upper. And the next chakra is the heart chakra. And it's about love, understanding, trust, openness, compassion, balance, and forgiveness. And the statement for the heart chakra is, I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. And when we're balanced in the heart chakra, now let's talk a little bit about the heart chakra really quick. We have every rational reason based on each of our individual experiences to keep our heart chakras shut down or certainly filtered, okay? We've all experienced a broken heart. We've all been in there in the pain of our heart chakra. It's part of being human. And we forget that it's part of being human and that it's to guide us into being expansive in our heart space. And what happens is we get a little, I didn't want to do a metaphor that had to do with a firearm, but a little trigger shy. And we start to shut down our heart chakra because we're protecting ourselves. Okay, and no judgment here. We're not judging ourselves for this. It's just a natural thing. And so I could be almost the poster person for what it means to run around in this reality with a completely open heart chakra and just completely love everyone that crosses my path. And I'm safe. I'm completely fine. Nobody takes advantage of me. I'm not vulnerable. There's nothing to fear. Okay. Yes, I cry easily. Okay, that's great. I laugh easily too. So, I balance it out. But that's it. And that's just me being so in my heart so much that it brings me to emotion. But so anyway, we'll move on. When we're balanced in the heart chakra, we're compassionate, we're nurturing, we're forgiving, and we're understanding. And those are things that we cultivate within ourselves. Okay, these aren't things that we cultivate outside of ourselves. I'm going to be compassionate to the world. I'm going to be nurturing, forgiving, and understanding. Yes, you are, but not until you're that way with yourself. And I do these 15-minute phone calls. A great topic is, Dr. Dream, I don't know how to love myself. That's a great topic. And we can make tremendous headway in 15 to 30 minutes with that. And then there's an assignment that goes along with it, followed by another phone call. Actually, it's interesting. We do weed people out that are looking to come to me for a quick fix and just want that 15-minute call, and they're not willing to do the assignment. They're not willing to do the effort. I know it wouldn't include anyone in this room. When we're imbalanced in our heart chakra, we may have heart-related health issues. We may experience coldness toward others or ourselves, despair, and feeling unworthy of love. And so the fourth chakra practice, if we're challenged in our heart chakra, being practical, take yourself out on a date. Don't wait for someone to take you out on a date. Don't wait for your husband or your wife or your partner to, come up with this great idea that let's, have a date night this week. It's like, oh, honey, you're busy or you're out of town or whatever. I'm going out to dinner and a movie, and I sent myself flowers. I love flowers. And if I waited for people to send me flowers, I probably would never get flowers. Seriously. So when I see a beautiful bunch of a dozen roses or whatever, I'll get them and just enjoy it. And my trailer, I live in a 26-foot travel trailer. And so it's relatively small, I guess, pretty small. But every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, I love myself. And it's nice. It's you taking care of you. We can also volunteer in our community. Forgive someone. More importantly, practice forgiving yourself. Another great topic for a 15-minute phone call. Dr. Dream, I don't know how to do self-forgiveness. What do you do? How did you clear that hurdle? And I'd love to talk about it. And then reach out to those who are in need. And so this is key because there's so many people in need right now. And what they're in need of is not to be fixed, okay? Reaching out to people in need is not fixing them. Most of the time, all it really takes is to hold space for them, because we're not used to people holding space for us. And holding space means you create a safe, sacred container and you allow them to be them. They have all the answers they need for themselves. And as much as we think we have all the answers they need from us, they don't need that from us. Most of the time, we just need space help. And right now on my list of space holders in my life, there's one person. And that's great. It's nice to have one person. And it's a person I can call and say, hey, listen, I just need to get some stuff out. And she doesn't try and fix it. She doesn't, nothing. She just holds space for me. And it's amazing how that works with people. I've been in sessions with people who have said, I've had a counselor, a therapist for 2 years, and now after 20 minutes, you already know more than that person knows about my life. And it's like, wow, they must be trying to fix you. I'm just holding space for you to put it out there. All right. So this now we're going to do the rose anointing oil. And this refers to a study done in 1992. And it's all on my website, therosefrequency.com. And the rose frequency is that rose oil holds a higher frequency than any other oil. And so how this works is that the average body frequency is between 62 and 68. And when you get down to 58 in your body frequency, you're susceptible to colds. 57, the flu. 55, Epstein-Barr. 55, Candida. 52, Epstein-Barr. 42 is the frequency of cancer in the body. I have such a solution, a frequency solution to cancer, and it works. And then at 25, a frequency of 25, your body's starting to die. So you may not have thought frequency was very important, say 30 seconds ago, but now we just threw the death card in. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a sec, frequency. I got to write that one down. Yeah, the frequency, this is important. And so what's the important thing then? It's like, well, how do we keep, I'm not worried about getting down to 25 or even cancer. I'm more concerned about the cold or flu making it so I miss an event or something like that. So it's like, I need to stay in peak shape. So what do? Well, they tested food, and anything canned, microwaved, or processed had zero frequency. Now, I know there's a small number of people here. Nobody in here is still using a microwave. I know that the attraction to have a baked potato in a minute and a half that doesn't even resemble a true baked potato is not something that you're toying with anymore. I know that you already know that it creates a carcinogen, that even boiling water in the microwave is a no-no. So get rid of it and don't give it away because you don't want anyone else using it. Take it to a disposal place. But it doesn't matter. None of you have microwaves, so I've just wasted all that time. And so fresh herbs, 15. Fresh produce, organic produce, like 22. Still not enough to raise your frequency that much. You know, you can maintain it, but then essential oils come in at 52 to 320, and rose comes in at 320. And so we're going to bring you into the rose frequency. And on that website, therosefrequency.com, and it's on the back of my cards, there's 300 photos of roses that I've taken. And if you join my Instagram account, every rose that I photograph has a story with it. So my dog Jake would walk me in the mornings, and he would then pee on the roses. But no, I would pick a rose that I liked and really look at it, and I would say to myself, what's the story that this rose is telling me? And based on what I'm dealing with, and then the positive spin I put on things, like if they didn't start calling me Dr. Dream, they would have called me like the spin doctor or something like that, because it's all perspective, and you just shift it a little bit and you've changed everything. So the roses do that for me. Rose oil is the oil of divine love, and it holds a higher frequency than any other oil on the planet. It's a powerful healer of the heart. Healer of the heart. And I said before, we all have experiences that require our hearts to be healed. And then just because we want to love all these wonderful people that are in our lives, it should be tremendous motivation for us to heal our hearts. It supports an individual in reaching heavenward and contacting divine love. Rose teaches the essential need for divine grace and intervention in the healing process. As an individual opens to receive divine benevolence in all its manifestations, the heart is softened. If one can simply let go and choose to receive divine love, they are wrapped in warmth, charity, and compassion. Rose invites the individual to experience the unwavering, unchanging, unconditional love of the divine. Feel that as you're breathing that in. The unwavering, unconditional love of the divine. Ooh. This love heals all hearts and dresses all wounds. Okay, isn't this sweet? It heals all hearts and dresses all wounds. It's just like taking care of us. It's a giant hug from source. It restores an individual to authenticity, wholeness, and purity. As one feels unconditional love and acceptance, the heart is softened. As the heart is fully open, a fountain of love flows freely through the soul. In this state, one feels charity and compassion. Rose embodies divine love and teaches individuals how to contact this love through prayer, meditation, and opening the heart to receive. So this takes us into our F bowl, which is the heart chakra. Oh, and I've got like 3 amazingly divine F bowls here. I am loved. We've got some really special heart bowls that are dual notes. FC, which is heart root. So this is a bowl that we've set people up with that have really expansive hearts, but they're not grounded. And so they're leveraging their expansive heart. They're like generous, loving people, but they're kind of like just like, whoa. Like the roots aren't very deep. And so this just grounds that love. And we've also, one of these bowls went out yesterday, and it was, FB, which is the heart crown. And so that, what a beautiful upper chakra connection with the heart crown, and really leveraging your heart to expand your connection to spirit and all things spiritual. And so these dual note bowls are really exciting, and just to take and be present enough to kind of move into what it's saying and what it's meaning, and kind of play that game with it. The bowl whisper. All right, so we now move on up to the throat chakra, and this is our fifth chakra. It's about communication, sound, vibration, self-expression, listening, speaking, and writing. Isn't it interesting that listening was before speaking? People think that communication, this is where we've skewed a word. Communication is me expressing my point and getting it across, and it's like, oh, wait a sec. So what we find and what we learn is that when we listen, we're a much better communicator. And when we listen first, before the, importance of getting our own point across, maybe the importance of getting our own point across gets lessened a little bit, because everyone else has valid points also. And so the throat chakra, we just always think about us speaking, but it has a lot to do with our ears also. And so the statement for the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, is I am expressive. When we're balanced in our throat chakra, we're self-expressive, creative, honest, and communicative. And when somebody else is imbalanced in their throat chakra, they are self-righteous, perhaps. They may talk too much. They may hold back. They may be quiet. Be certainly indecision, lack creativity, and are inconsistent. So a fifth chakra practice would be to express yourself through art, write for yourself, and talk only to people who will truly listen to you. That could be a short list, but we have to train people also on how to do this. And so also, when you find yourself truly listening and not listening also involves you like being present and in that moment, not like half listening and in, a future moment. When you move into that energy, then what's reflected back to you is going to be people that are more ready to listen to you instead of shutting you down. I had an experience recently with a practitioner that's new into her gifts, and I don't normally let practitioners work on me. I'm just really particular about who I bring into my field at all. And but I let this person in, and she took me through a really intense process having to do with a 5-year relationship that I just got out of. And it was super intense. Like I wanted to fight back, and I'm like, no, that's not right, and all this, and she's so new into all this, she didn't know about holding space, and I felt completely shut down because I was trying to get my point across, and it may not have been the true reality, but you can't shut someone down. I mean, their truth is their truth in that moment, or their expression is that. And I got completely shut down, and we processed it afterwards. And I got to teach her about holding space, which is another thing. Like, it's listening. It's not, I don't have to talk. I can be present with you and just be present with you for you to be you right now. And that just, I completely got shut out, and it threw me like badly, like I got really upset inside, like my inner child felt like I probably did when I was 5 years old and got shut down by my parents or something. I was just like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so speak only to people who would truly listen to you. So there is a program that I have. It says write for yourself here. And there's a program I have. This is another gift for you. It's called 21 Days to Change, the Conscious Creation Program. And I started it, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, but as a workbook. And that lasted about a week because I'm like, who wants to do a workbook? Like, seriously, languaging in my world plays such a key role. Like, workbook? No way. That's entirely too much work. So it's a playbook. Doesn't that sound fun? Throw some wild orange on. You're going to love it. And so here's my gift to you. I'll give you that. It's a download. It's a PDF. I'll send you the link for it if you send me an email. Okay, so that's the first part of this gift. So I send you the PDF document. You need to print it, though. Once you print it, that's your assignment. Once you print it, you get back to me and say, Dr. Dream, I printed it. At that point, I'll start with 4 phone calls for you. It's a 3-week program. So 1 phone call is to get you started on the right foot. Because you know when you start something on the right foot, prepared, and you've got all, your T's crossed and your I's dotted, that you're giving yourself the edge for success. And then it's a 3-week program. So I'll give you 3 more phone calls, eat 1 a week for the 3 weeks. And we call it comfortable accountability. Because being the free will humans we are, it's really easy to rationalize why I'm not going to do my 21-day program today. But if you have Dr. Dream, who loves you so much and completely understands you, holding space for you, and being like you needing to be comfortably accountable to him, if that's a dynamic, I'll play whatever role you need me to play in it. But the comfortable accountability seems to be one that people really like. It keeps them kind of on track with it. And there's no charge for that. Okay, if you're willing to do the 21-day program, it's a life changer, by the way. And it's a life changer in 4 or 5 days. So if you're willing to do the program, I am willing to walk that part of your journey with you and to love you and support you in making whatever changes you want to make in your life. And it's easy. Okay, I'm not the guy that wants to go to that cave in the Himalayas and take 1 breath a month with Jesus and Buddha. It's just, I didn't come from that world. I'm not that disciplined, but I can do a 21-day playbook like easily. It's fill in the blank. Now, it'll still take 45 minutes to an hour a day. Okay, I mean, you still got to be present and in there, but it's a game changer, and I'll walk you through it. So the oil for this is lavender. And lavender is the oil of communication. So this is excellent. They call lavender the Swiss Army knife of oils. Okay, and it's because I jumped ahead. I normally don't bring this up till we get to frankincense. Frankincense is the king of oils. And they say if you don't know what oil to use, reach for frankincense. But frankincense is an expensive oil. And so they say, well, if you don't have frankincense and you don't know what oil to use, reach for the Swiss Army knife of oils, lavender. Just get a kick out of that. We make things so like pleasing sounding and everything and give things these labels. I'm no longer a vegan or a vegetarian or a carnivore or a pescatarian or whatever. I'm a flexitarian because I eat whatever I want to eat. And at times whenever I want to eat it. All right, so the oil of lavender is the oil of communication. It aids verbal expression. It calms, and it also aids listening. It calms the insecurities that are felt when one risks their true thoughts and feelings. But you know what? Is it really a risk if you're putting your true thoughts and feelings out there? Probably not. I think it's more of a risk if we're not putting our true thoughts and feelings out there. That's the trap. So lavender addresses a deep fear of being seen and heard. Many of us have that. We were shut down when we were children. Individuals in need of lavender. I used to walk by a lavender bush every day when my dog Jake walked me, and I would pull just gently on the lavender and then smell my hand. I just love it. I just love lavender. All right. So, lavender encourages emotional honesty and insists that one speak their innermost thoughts and desires. As individuals learn to communicate their deepest thoughts and feelings, they are liberated from their self-inflicted prison. It is through open and honest communication that an individual experiences unconditional love and acceptance. Unconditional love and acceptance. Through Lavender's courageous spirit, one is free to share their true self with others. And when we're in our authenticity, when we're authentic and we're honest with who we are and we're comfortable with who we are, it's so nice to share that with everyone, because everyone wants to be around that energy. They want to feel that. So we're at the throat chakra. The note is a G. The note is a G. And you thought I was expressive before we got to the throat chakra. All right. So now we move on up to the third eye. And this is our sixth chakra. And it's about psychic abilities, channeling, telepathy, astral travel, visions, connection to higher self. And I always just say inner knowing and intuition. And this is a tough one. Like for you ladies, which is most of you here in this room, you have it easy with this one. Like it hasn't been conditioned out of you. Whereas you and I, sir, I mean, I got to tell you, like the patriarchal programming is it has to be rational. And if it's not rational, whatever about a feeling, you know, we can't run this world on feelings. We can't, you know, conquer the world on feelings. It has to be rational. And so it takes a lot for men to really accept like this inner knowing and intuition for what it is. I've crossed the hurdle, and one of the things that helped me with this, I mean, I kind of crossed it a little while ago, but then when we got this deal with Nepal, I said to them, send me a bowl. I just need one bowl before the big shipment. My first shipment was 80 bowls. And back then it was like, sell a bowl, send us the money right away. And now we're getting, shipments are 1,000 kilos instead of, like 100 and 200 kilos or something like that. And so it's like, no, you're making big payments every month now, but it's a great deal for everyone. So I asked them to send me a bowl, and I didn't ask for a note or anything, which is odd for me. Like I'm the one that goes to the reality cafe of the universe and places a very specific order with source. And if it shows up any differently than the way I would really like it to show up, I'm okay to say, oh, excuse me, I think you misread the order, or I miscommunicated it. A little bit more lavender here. Here's what I really want to happen, okay? And it's just placing our order. We're just placing our order and then letting go of it. Like we go to a restaurant together, we place an order for lunch, and what do? We don't talk about what's happening in the kitchen. We have our lunch and we enjoy our company and everything. And so place your order with source, and let it all happen behind the scenes and be presented to you. So anyway, here's what happened. I didn't place my order, but source knew exactly what I needed. And I got this bowl, and I did this, and I got the app, and I'm doing this, and it's an A bowl. And I'm like, oh, that's excellent, because I get so focused on my heart and my crown, because that's like that my connection to spirit is everything, because it makes all of this like the easiest thing ever, and the lack of connection to spirit makes it all really tough. And then my heart, I just want to love everybody. I know that's what I'm here for. So I'm just cutting to the chase and dropping everything that gets in the way of loving everything about this experience and everything about everyone. And I'm just going there. And so never really focused so much on my third eye. And so I'm like, Abel, okay, that's cool. And the frequency was 108 hertz. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I have no idea what that means. And so I type 108 hertz into Google, and it comes up 108 hertz equals total knowing. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. An A bowl with the frequency of total knowing? I mean, this is great. Third eye, total knowing. I love this. I slept with it for 3 nights. Jake, my 15-year-old service animal, but we've switched roles now. I'm his service human, thinks I'm absolutely nuts. But it really worked. And it was just like, wow, because what I do, it's really important for me to follow my inner knowing and follow my intuition. And so it's pretty cool. The King's Chamber, the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber has a frequency of 108 hertz. And there's 108 prayer beads on a mala. I mean, 108 becomes a really cool number. I'm like, yay, 108. All right. So that's where am I? I'm jumping around a little bit, aren't I? So that's the story about my 6th chakra bowl. I was all ready to just jump out there and start energizing you with it. It is, I am connected is the statement. I am connected. Third eye, I am connected. And when we're balanced in the third eye, we're intuitive, imaginative, visual, and insightful. And when someone else is imbalanced with their third eye, they lack vision, maybe nightmares, migraines, they're manipulative or could be, religiously dogmatic, I'm sure we don't know any of those people, non-assertive, oversensitivity to feelings of others, and afraid of success. Oh, that's so tough. Afraid of success, afraid of failure. I mean, what can't you be afraid of anymore? Unable to distinguish between ego and higher self. So these are some big things. And again, it's not about judgment. It's just about realizing where you're at and what's calling for your attention. And so what's the 6th chakra practice? Daydream and visualize what you wish to manifest in your life. Meditate and focus on the present. Again, that's visualize what you wish to manifest in your life is the 21-day program. And so just putting that out there again, the third eye is I'm so excited about this. I'm running to the next thing. And so the oil for the third eye, I thought I put all these papers in order. And my third eye oil has completely flown the coop. Isn't that wild? I'm going to look just in one place, because if I've got it, otherwise it could be a sign that we just need to kind of move into energizing this one. But let's see if I've got it. This is the real part of the unpolished experience. It's like, oh my gosh, look at him. I do stuff like that in my own life. Dr. Dream's so real. Okay, I don't have it. So I'm going with the flow, and that's saying to me, Source is saying, you know what, skip the oil on this one, because we're looking at the time, and and we're going to go right into the third eye. And I'm going to make sure to get to each one of you with this third eye activation bowl. And the bowl is, of course, an A. I am connected. Whew. I love this. So now we find ourselves at the crown chakra. And this is about universal consciousness, all-knowing, cosmic connection, the God source, enlightenment, gateway to other dimensions. All very, very exciting. And the statement for the crown chakra is, I am divine. I am divine. When we're balanced in our crown chakra, we're open-minded, inspired, and spiritually connected. And when we're in someone else is imbalanced in their crown chakra, they experience hopelessness, depression, and alienation. I have a lot of people. It almost seems an inordinate amount of people that come to me for depression. And I think it's because they sense that maybe I've never been depressed. I have been depressed. But here's what I know about depression, and I alluded to it before, or actually spoke of it before, and that is that when somebody's depressed, I know that there's a problem with the crown chakra. I know that this energy center is not operating at its optimal level, because you can't be depressed and be connected to spirit and know that you are a spiritual being. Okay, you just can't be depressed. Spirit, you can't. But if you are blocking it out, if you are filtering your connection to spirit and all things spiritual, this place is a horrible place to be. Okay, and nothing feels right, and nothing looks right, and nothing resonates in the right way, because you're not seeing spirit anywhere. And so what do? We get the bee bowl, but a smaller one, and that's the crown chakra bowl, and on the bottoms of the feet, wild orange, any citrus oil, or frankincense. We're going to talk about frankincense in a moment. And so and that's what does it. So if you know someone and they're open to it, or you yourself have this experience, someone the other day picked up a bowl for her boyfriend, and he's real happy person, and then he can just drop and just deep despair and not want to see anyone for days and all this, and he's still drinking, and so that's probably playing some role in all that. And so she got him a bee bowl, and bless you. And it's combined. It was another note. I think it was a lower chakra also. I think it was maybe sacral or something to just kind of ground all of that. But so there's ways to work with this. The 7th chakra practice is ask for what you want, write down your intentions, connect with your higher power, and write down all good things in your life. What do I have gratitude for? It's a big piece of the 21-day program. 40. Fill in the blanks every day for your gratitude list. The first 15 anyway, go like that. The rest you need to dig for, and that's why we do 40, okay? Because if it's just like write down all the stuff that's easy, my daughter, my dog, my, whatever, but then it's like, oh no, now what am I going to put down? It's like, yes, now it's making you look even deeper at your life, to peel back another layer, the layer of the obvious, the immediacy of what you're grateful for, and look even deeper. And so I start, by 37, I'm writing roses, sunsets, but these are the things I have gratitude for in life, whether I see them every day or not. Okay. So, and that is, we're now at the crown chakra, of course, and the oil for, it's kind of tough being around all these frequencies and sounds and all this energy and being in such an expansive place of love for me to keep all of my thoughts and everything together. It's like really challenges me a little bit. So frankincense is the oil that we're going to play with right now. Love frankincense. I love it because it's the oil of truth, and it reveals deceptions and false truths, and it invites individuals to let go of lower vibrations, lies, deceptions, and negativity. Enough already, right? Let's just move through all that. Drop it, let it go. Don't play your role in it, and don't accept anyone else's role and rise above it. I'm loving it. This oil helps create new perspectives based on light and truth, and it recalls to memory spiritual understanding, gifts, wisdom, and knowledge the soul brought into the world. So if you have questions about why you're here and what your gifts are, spend a day playing with frankincense and connect to allow it to recall to your memory spiritual understanding, gifts, wisdom, and knowledge that your soul brought into this world. Okay, that's going to give you the edge, and then what you decide to do with it. And it's also a great phone call. So we'll hook you up with a little frankincense, and then we'll do a 15-minute phone call on why am I here? Like what are my gifts? All right. It's a powerful cleanser of spiritual darkness. Frankincense assists in pulling the scales of darkness from the eyes, the barriers from the mind, and the walls from the heart. Through connecting the soul with its inner light, this oil reveals the truth. Frankincense supports in creating a healthy attachment with one's father. That's a great thing. Not all of us have that or had that. It assists in spiritual awakening and helps an individual feel the fatherly love of the divine. When one has felt abandoned or forgotten, and who in this reality hasn't at one time or another, frankincense reminds us that we are loved and protected. While this oil is incredibly powerful, it is also gentle, like a loving father who nurtures, guides, and protects. Frankincense shields the body and soul from negative influences and assists the soul in its spiritual evolution. Enhancing practices of prayer and meditation, this oil opens spiritual channels that allow an individual to connect to God. Through the light and power of frankincense, the individual can draw closer to divinity, healthy masculinity, and the grandeur of the true self. I'm loving this. And so we're going to bring the bee bowls around. This is not the bowl I'm going to carry around to each of you, but I am going to give it a whack, so to speak. That's the technical phrase for what we do up here. We're whacking the bowls. It's getting late, right? I am divine. Can't believe I get to do this 2 to 5 times a week. It's an extraordinary experience. And at this point right now, we're going to go ahead and close out with the final part, which is us playing all 50 bowls. And again, keep your eyes closed on this one. And someone the other day described being surrounded by 333 bowls, not 50, but 333, as this must be the sound of the universe being birthed. And I thought that was just such a lovely description of what that was like. And so we're going to go ahead and just do this for a few moments and allow this complete energetic to embrace all of us. Mm. Wow. Completely shaking from all of that. Can you imagine? Okay. So we want to thank you for this. Elizabeth, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for always showing up. It's not easy to do this. It doesn't pay. It's you being completely in service. And that's who you are and what your life is about. And before we do this last piece, there's an event in Irvine at the Temple of Light on April 30th. And it's a benefit for, and this is an organization that provides, it's called Dolphins Love Kids, and they do boat trips for kids that wouldn't normally be able to do this, and allows them to connect with the dolphins in this very special energy. And I'm presenting at this, and there's Michelle Anderson and Sixers. Good. If you go to touroflove.com, which is my main website, there's a link on the front page to more information on the event and how to get tickets and things like that. And so I know that you're already all about making a difference, and this is another way to make a difference directly. So right now, Elizabeth's going to come around with the rose hydrosol, which I call the nectar. It is the water that comes off the steam distillation process of making the finest rose otto organic essential oil, and nothing's added. You know, we all used to buy those pink bottles at the place, you know, with they add the rose to it. This is the way it comes out. And so I'd like to thank I'd like to thank everyone that's associated with this lovely center, and I would love to come back. And let's fill these seats and let's do something really powerful and anchor big energies. But we did do something really powerful tonight, and I thank each of you for coming. I get it that you've already done something, but you're welcome. We have bowls back here, and this is really the big thing for us. The $25 a person helps me go from place to place and cover if the payments haven't really, you know, come in. But getting the bowls, that money goes directly back. And so take your time and look at them. You got such a special bowl tonight, and I love that. And we have the rose anointing oil. An ounce of pure rose oil goes for, an ounce is a shot glass, by the way, goes for $735. I get it for wholesale. But I wanted a rose product that everybody would use and use a lot of. Like I walk past people twice in the grocery store, you get a hug and you get rose oil from me. I have embarrassed my daughter so badly on this. So we came up with a product that is just $25, and it's in a base of jojoba oil. And you got it on you tonight, and it's an amazing oil. And if you want it, we have it back here. We take credit cards. We have the rose hydrosol also. It's just $20. These are just all ways that we can, you know, make these $5,000 payments now each month to Nepal and support everything that we're doing, but not without knowing that it's supporting you on your path and your journey. And then every offer that I made tonight about the workbook, whatever about the workbook, that's out there, the playbook, and the 15-minute phone calls. And it's not just for you that showed up for this event. People take extra of my cards and they give them to friends and they say, hey, Dr. Dream's available. And here's the other thing. My card has my cell phone number. And so I'm putting myself out there to each of you, and I do this to every single group that I speak to, that I'm that person that you can call at 3 or 4 in the morning because the stuff doesn't normally hit the fan during like working hours. And I keep my phone on, and we'll go through whatever process we need to go through to keep you from being in a downward spiral and to just pull you back up to where you're in a comfortable place. And so if you don't put me into your cell phone, my cell phone number, into your cell phone, you just Google Dr. Dream and my cell phone number comes up. And so I really am here to be in service, and I really am here to help you. And if you feel like reaching out and you don't because you think, oh, I'm not worthy or I'm not deserving, or it dresses up like, oh, I don't want to get in Dr. Dream's way, I don't make hollow offers. I don't offer anything that I resent or have the possibility of resenting. And if you don't call me when you feel like you should call me, you're really doing a disservice to both of us. And so I'll just leave it at that. This is all real stuff. And you got tonight who I really am and what I'm really about. And hopefully it allowed you into a space of who you really are, more expansive maybe than when you first walked in, and what you're really about, and helped you balance and clear out some other energies and things like that. And so I want to thank you. And my comment always is, I want to thank you for showing up, and not just showing up tonight, but obviously you wouldn't have shown up tonight if you're not already showing up in your own lives and showing up for yourself. And that's the most important thing. And that inspires me. And I thank you all very much.
Thank you. So is there anybody here who wants to experience a bowl, play a bowl? Come see me.
Right. They're all playable. And if you want to talk about bowls, I'll stand back here and we can chat about bowls. And if there's anything you want to take with you, we can chat about that. And my cards are all back here on this table.